What's up, dudes and dudettes of the internet? My name is Seth, and we are back again from the Trove PC patch notes. I'm still very sick and under the weather right now, so you'll have to excuse me, but otherwise, this patch comes with some pretty crazy stuff that's good, bad, ugly, and then some other stuff that's actually not too bad. This is the infamous pay-to-win update. So we're going to be giving away the information rather than prizes, so I would still appreciate if you would hit that like button, and thank you so much if you do. Now, St. Qubeslick's Day, which is... That's pushing it a little bit. New quest chain is here. Help St. Qubeslick get rid of land of tentacle invaders and gain the St. Qubeslick ally. You don't actually have to do anything with the tentacle invaders. That's actually a completely separate thing that you can mess around with. I am going to have a video later today that's going to show you exactly what you have to end up doing for that quest line, just so that we can kind of get through the patch notes here, because there is a lot of content, right? So there's floating shadow layers have been spotted over the medieval highlands, and they are crawling with tentacles. I'll insert some footage right here. It's actually really cool. I don't know if the devs were being nostalgic or lazy, but that is actually the old shadow towers from... I don't know if they had them in alpha, but they most definitely had them in beta. For those of you that don't know and are just coming in, normally we didn't have portals that we could interact with to open a shadow tower. You had to randomly go out in the world and find them and then use a shadow key to actually open it, right? So kind of cool that it's back. Now instead, you can see that they actually have a different type of crafting table that you'll interact with, and that is actually so you craft Tentacle Allies. So this is the Qubeslick ally right here, and then the tentacle, hello Startos, the tentacle ally is this guy right here, which, I mean, he's just weird, man. Like, he really is. I don't understand him. So there's going to be collect pieces. Yeah, you collect the pieces of the tentacle creatures that you find in those old Shadow Tower portal things. But there is also, you can just randomly find the enemies in Medieval Highlands. Again, I'll go into more detail with another separate video, because there's a little things that you can actually farm for with it. Now, the event itself is going to end up rewarding you Dragonite shards, gem booster boxes, dragon coins, pearl of wisdom, chaos chests, so on and so forth. Then they've got a lengthy little introduction here for some of the store changes, and I don't know, I guess it's kind of justifying why they're doing it. You know, it makes sense why they're doing it, but I don't know. It's pretty crazy, because technically speaking, almost everything out of the store right now is untradable outside of the credit pouches, right? So as far as the store changes are concerned, many packs formerly priced in real-world currency are now priced in credits and will no longer give patron points. You'll still get patron points for buying credits and anything that actually spends real-life money. I'm not exactly sure which packs have actually been affected by this, folks, because for myself personally, I mean, I'm assuming maybe it's just these weekly deals or something. By the way, we can get a free starter class coin. I'll grab that right here. Not that I can actually use that. I really don't know which packs are actually affected by this, because on the test server anyways, it didn't seem like it affected any of them. And on the live server, I already have all of the class packs and stuff like that, so it's not like I can necessarily tell, you know, which one's doing it, right? Okay, critter. Then they've also got credit packs now offer Radiant Sovereigns, which can be purchased and redeemed for great rewards in the hub. As part of the change, all deal packs have been retired. So you'll see that in the credits section, they ended up getting rid of all the different deals and stuff. They do still have these weekly deals going on, and then every now and then they're going to show like a special deal. But otherwise, the sovereigns are these right here, which everybody's just been calling pancakes, right? And I kind of talked about these in a little bit more detail in another video where I had Trove going full pay to win. But let's just hop over to the hub so I can show you this. I'm not going to talk about whether or not you support or are against this type of a change today, because I already talked about that in that video. I just want to show you that if you end up buying any of those suckers, you can end up getting Empowered Gem Boxes, Titan Treasures, Gold Chaos Chests, and Party Animals. Now, these aren't necessarily going to end up being worthwhile if you still want to end up getting Flux. At the moment, anyways, selling credit pouches is still the most beneficial. But out of all of these, I mean, the fact that you can pay to win your way to Empowered Gem Boxes is pretty crazy, right? So there's also a new $30 credit pack offering 5,000 credits and 6 sovereigns. The Extra Life 2015 pack, which was probably one of the most popular packs in the game, mostly because people were actually trying to donate to charity, but then they ended up doing some shady business and started taking a lot, like they only donated like $20,000 from that pack and kept saying that the pack was going to go towards charity, even though they obviously ended up reaching that threshold. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is I'm pretty sure that's why they've kept that pack around and just renamed it the Double Dragon pack instead. Now, I could be wrong about that, you know, maybe they're not trying to be evil about it, but for myself personally, I never really liked the fact that they called it the Extra Life Pack for such a long time. 2 new flash deals now appear in the store from time to time to offer extreme value. Flash deals are 4 hours long, occur every 4 days, and offer 5 times value deal on various consumable items essential to powering up. Power deals unlock as you power up, meaning that your power rank goes up, you'll end up seeing better deals, I guess, right? Personally speaking, the deal that I ended up seeing, while I didn't get it on camera, sorry to say, it really wasn't worth it. It wasn't that good. There is also going to be an untradable 15-day Patron pass is now available for 1,250 credits. Fewer than half of the credits for a 30-day pass. Now, that is, you know, kind of hit or miss about this one because 30-day Patron is not a thing for free-to-play players anymore, which is pretty crazy. But you know, you can still buy this, technically speaking, for cheaper than you would buy the 30-day tradable Patron. The thing that I find funny is at the moment you can actually buy 30 days of Patron through credit pouches if you're a free-to-play player for about 890,000 flux, which is already pretty insane, right? Because the credit pouches are going for 89. But if you look at the people that are trying to sell Patron, they're trying to sell it for 940. So don't buy Patron from these freaks. You can actually get Patron for a lot cheaper if you're just buying the credit patches, right? Or credit pouches. So don't fall for any of this stuff. The only way that this would actually be worthwhile is if it was 900k, maybe, because then that would still be about 10,000 more to buy just a 30-day than it would be to buy the Patron pouches, or credit pouches, but hey, whatever. Then there's also the tradable day, 30-day Patron pass for 3,000 credits. It's leaving the Trove store, obviously. Some items have been removed from the store, including costume mystery boxes, eyes, tentacles. Good. We didn't need those in the store. Then there's some store-bought items are now untradable, while some old ones will retain their tradability. This is pretty crazy, folks, because Greater Dragon caches, Pinatas, Club Megaphones, renamed tags, and Heartophones, none of which are tradable anymore. That is mean, because that means you want to get any of that stuff for yourself. Free-to-play players, get out, quit the game. You know, you can't get them anymore. You have to spend money in order to actually get any of those items. I understand why they're doing it. I just personally don't really agree with it. Heartophones have been reduced from 500 credits to 250 because, you know, they sell a lot more when they're that cheap. Golden keys have been reduced from 2,000 to 1,500 credits. Lower that to 1,000 and then maybe we'll talk. Older twinkling tomes, golden keys, gem key boost, golden gem keys, are now known as tradable versions of those items and must be loot collected in order to have the actual functionality untradable version of the same item. So if you have any twinkling tomes, golden keys, golden gem keys and stuff like that, right now the ones that you have in your inventory are still tradable, but any that you get from the store from now on is untradable. So if you sell it to someone and then they end up loot collecting it just to use it, it's going to slowly take those items out of rotation, right? So then there's also the Chaos Weekly deal has been improved. Whenever it appears in the store, it will now offer 2 golden Chaos chests instead of 1 and 75 Chaos chests instead of 65. Now that's actually a good change because otherwise the deal wasn't really worthwhile because it was giving you 65 Chaos chests, which isn't enough to trigger the Karma. So it's nice that they ended up changing that one. That's actually a really good deal. The Patron Weekly deal has been replaced by the Progression Weekly deal. This will appear every 4 weeks in the store and offer 25 golden gem keys and 5 of a special new item, double experience potions, which double experience gained for an hour. Now, here's something that's very strange about them. You actually, I don't even know how he's doing that with the video effects, but oh, he's right-clicking, okay. You can actually use an XP thing, an XP booster, and log out, and it'll stay active, not stay active, it'll stop being active on your account. So it's only going to go towards your total hour of XP boost so long as you're logged in. Now, I don't know whether or not, because I'm not going to use any of these things. I've already got all my classes maxed out, but I don't know whether or not this is going to be affected by appearing offline. You know, is there a bug with it where you could appear offline and get infinite XP booster, or is it going to actually detect when your account is online regardless of if you're appearing online or offline, right? I don't know. But then a starter class coin is available in the claim store menu for free accounts. This replaces the previous requirement of reaching mastery rank 3. Pro tip, use the class selection menu, press J to go to the free trial of every class. You can try them all out. And then also, since we're on the PC version, we have the Chaos Crafter, so you can technically you can technically end up crafting any of these guys, but it's very, very difficult because you need Chaos Cores, and the only way that you can get those for free is just by finding like random Chaos chests out in the world as a random drop, and then you're gonna have to randomly end up getting a Chaos Core from those drops, right? So it still really pushes the pay to win, but the fact of the matter is that you can still get all the classes for free, which is fantastic. Spring Pinatas are now in the store. Instead of the winter pinatas. They also have a Brazilian, Portuguese, and regional pricing. So Brazilian Portuguese is now out of beta, and packs are now priced in Brazilian currency rather than in like American currency, I guess. So hopefully it's going to adjust with that, because if you'll notice, let me see on the store right here. Did it adjust to my Canadian currency? No, it did not. That's still in American. Okay, probably because I'm in North America as far as my region's concerned, right? Gems have seen a massive change, actually. The lower stat value for all minor gems have been increased by 30%, meaning that any gems that would end up generating with a low stat, that stat is going to be increased by 30%. So because of it, myself and a lot of others will have either seen a huge improvement in your strength, or maybe just a little one, because it's only going to affect the lower base stat value, right? But with it, it has thrown my, whoopsie daisy, I'm using the wrong ally, but it has thrown my power rank up to 21,532. So that's pretty cool. You know, lots of people have been boosted up in the power rank system. I assume that they're kind of starting to readjust all that stuff because they're preparing for U10, right? But then there is also lesser stellar gems now deconstruct for 500 gem dust. That's insane, and that is a huge incentive for people to actually get to U9 and start farming stellar gems, because I was checking out before the patch ended up hitting, you would actually loot collect stellar gems for 150 gem dust. Now that's been boosted up to 500, meaning that endgame players are going to be rewarded with so much gem dust, you're not going to know what to do with it, which is insanely awesome. Good one on you for doing that, devs. Gem booster boxes now award golden gem keys instead of gem dust, meaning that gem dust is just completely removed from the gem booster boxes to adequate for this change, because now you can still get like 9th lives and stuff like that out of the booster boxes. They give slightly more of some boosters at uncommon, meaning, I don't know, maybe you'll get more luck bugs at an uncommon level or something like that. Gems no longer can be found with only 1 stat, instead only spawning with 2 or 3 stats. This includes a gem that will actually still have 1 star on it. And it says that it's going to, it doesn't say anything about lesser gems, so I'm guessing that this means it affects empowered gems as well, right? Excuse me for a lot of the cuts. I'm usually stopping so that I can actually cough in the video. I have a cough drop in my mouth right now. I'm really sick. I'm getting a lot better, but as it stands right now, I should not be recording, but I want to. So there is also a new recipe in the gems section of the Adventurer's Crafting Bench for Lapis Luck Bugs and 9th Lives. So this is actually insane, because free-to-play players, technically speaking, you're gonna have to grind like a million zillion 4-leaf clovers that you're gonna have to grind up. 10 clovers for 1 horseshoe, and then it's 6 horseshoes for 1 luck bug, and then 25 luck bugs for 1 9th life. Now that is pretty insane, but at the least, where this is mostly going to affect players isn't the free-to-play players. This is mostly going to affect people that actually buy gem boosters. So now they're a whole lot more useful, because if you end up getting lots and lots of lapis bugs, which end up becoming pretty useless from level 20 on a gem and up, you know, at least you're going to be able to construct those into a 9th life. I'm assuming that's why it costs so many lapis bugs to actually make 1 9th life, because as far as a free-to-play player is concerned, that is insane. And then there is also new talismans added to the game. I guess the devs really like the whole talisman thing, but they've actually added llama talismans as a very rare chance of dropping from all adventure worlds. As of right now, don't buy any of these because the cheapest one is 2 mil. That's because they're the brand new thing. They just came out. They're gonna slowly end up getting more and more of them into the game, especially if you can grind them out of all the adventure worlds. Now, of course, it's going to be a very rare drop for sure, but unfortunately, I can't show you these today. Maybe I will eventually if I ever end up getting all of them, but they've got lots and lots of different new llamas that have been added to the game, which is fantastic because the llamas are hilarious. They're a fantastic mount. They are such a joke. I am still missing this stupid griffin as well because that thing is way too expensive, but they've also changed it so regular centaurs, meows, pemblocks, and sheeps, or shmeeps, I guess, will now actually craft out of their own respective talismans. So if you have like a bunch of meows on hand, like in your inventory, you're gonna loot collect those down into the talisman. There's no reason to keep them around anymore because they've changed it so that the base mount, like just a basic pemblock, is going to end up costing the Corgi Talisman. And it gives a little description where you can actually look and see that Corgis are going to be U7. I was going to say U7 for some reason because Uber, right? But U7 and lower in the adventure worlds, while the meows are going to be the same thing as well. The shmeeps and centaurs and stuff like that are, of course, just higher areas. This is U8 and higher, and then the centaur is going to be U9 and higher. Now, I do gotta say that the drop chance of these guys is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it really is insane. You know, I've grinded, I don't know how much I've grinded, and honestly speaking, I haven't seen another centaur in like a million zillion years, or any of those mounts to say the least, so maybe their prices won't go down unless more players end up joining into the game or something like that. There's also going to be new dungeons for Neon City, Treasure Isles, Cursed Lair, and then there's also going to actually be a Shadow Tower dungeon, which is in the Pinata rotation right now. It's actually really, really cool. I'll insert some footage of it. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a train or something that you're kind of winding through, or if it's just like a futuristic base or something. It's got lots of like big seats and stuff like that, so I don't know. Now, the other things that the patch doesn't mention, and this could be a bug, but the Tentacle Ally and even the St. Qubeslick Ally are actually tradable right now. So lots of people are trying to sell them, which is pretty crazy if that is actually a bug, because it means that people could actually put one of those items into the market, set up whatever price that they want, because technically speaking, these are an event item. They're going to end up going away after some time, and maybe somebody would end up actually buying them, depending on the price that they actually have. I had to get away from his potion spamming there, but maybe people would end up buying them. Honestly, because these allies are not particularly cool, it means that, you know, be careful with what you end up pricing them at. Now there's a bunch of additional updates. I'm going to kind of skim through these and just give you a brief summary of the ones that I think are actually worth mentioning. And then if you want to read like all of them in more detail, you can check the links in the description to the patch notes themselves. Fix the gunslinger's charge shot to apply the decreased descent speed. So I guess that means you can right click, or maybe it means that your class gem ability is also going to be affected by that. Fix a bug where boss abilities triggered too frequently. This means that the ally bug that was around where you could use the fiery flame dancer and be invincible, and the dragon allies and stuff, all of that's been fixed. Now this is a big one. Legendary tomes now require the same amount of dungeons to fill as regular ones, meaning that you only need to complete 25 dungeons to complete a weekly legendary tome. That is fantastic because you can grind up your tomes in like a day or so, and then you can just swap over to a normal tome. It's a lot less of a chore now, which is awesome, right? Then they also have 1 week out of every 4, you're going to have the Mega Core as the big prize in the Chaos chest rather than a new Chaos collectible. I don't know exactly how much this Mega Core is worth. I'm assuming it's 25 Chaos Cores. Don't quote me on that. They don't actually say what it's worth though, so I'm not sure. Shadow Pinatas have also been added back to the Chaos chest. They're going to stay in there permanently, hopefully this time. Mastery has been doubled from 50 to 100 on the Cyclone Skimmer, Never-Ending Necromancer mounts, and eventually is going to affect Squeakers as well. Untradable class coins will now loot collect into 3 double experience point boosters. At the moment, they do actually say that the experience time that you have left is not going to end up being displayed, but they're hoping that they're going to end up correcting that within the next patch. Now, if only they would do that for Patron so that I could see in-game how much I've got left. There's also a whole bunch of new streamer dream allies, which I'm going to do another video kind of showing all of those guys off, just so that you don't have to skim through 20 minutes of footage just to actually see them. But if you do go over into the, where is it, combat allies, bring it all the way down, you can see there's all sorts of new streamer allies. A lot of them are very, very cool, but again, I'll end up having a video that actually shows all of them off to you. When splitting an inventory stack, the input box correctly receives the keyboard focus. Now, what this means, it's actually a big deal for somebody like myself, because there was an issue where we were trying to drag and drop items like into our inventory or into our personal chest and stuff, and it was asking how many, even if you're trying to sell stuff on the market, right? And you would type it on your keyboard, but it wouldn't actually let you choose the number unless you highlighted the box yourself, right? So now they've actually fixed that. It's like it used to be, where you can just start typing immediately. The marketplace can now also show values lower than 1 flux, depending on, like, if you're selling like a whole bunch of one item for 1 flux and then it ends up equaling less than 1 flux per unit. Now we're actually going to be able to see that in the market. Fixed an issue where the ignore list would sometimes show the wrong name for players. This mostly affects you folks out there, because if I open my friends list, my game crashes. By the way, did you know, because I didn't, that there is actually a /unignore like text command that you can use? It's just that it's un-ignore, because otherwise I was trying to do it without the dash, and I thought, oh man, that sucks that there's no feature for that. So hey, the more you know. Daughter of the Moon's big poopy geyser things will now clean up after 24 seconds each, rather than just persisting throughout the entire fight. You can now loot collect rings, and you're going to end up getting the appropriate amount of flux per the rarity of it. Number of charges now stays constant when using an ability, when using an ultimate ability with the Vial of Unleashed Power equipped. The fancy carpet mount now no longer adopts the player movement speed when you're gliding, which for that mount you have to have spent a certain amount of money on the game in order to actually get it. Rune crafting bench description in the adventures crafting table has been corrected. Fixed a bug where the Neon Ninja's gem shuriken would not deal damage when more than one was hit in rapid succession. That is a huge deal, because in Shadow Towers, this has actually been out since the class gem has been out, so it's nice that they ended up fixing this, because now we can finally have more than one Neon Ninja in a Shadow Tower, because you would actually have 2 Neon Ninjas in a Shadow Tower. Each of them would end up canceling out each other's attacks, and it was actually getting really, really bad since the patch before this one, where even if you were playing on your own, I noticed that the shuriken was not really functioning properly in the Shadow Tower. So all of that has been resolved. Absolutely awesome that they ended up fixing that one. That's going to be a very, very big one for sure for most people in Shadow Towers, because now you don't gotta swap to some Uggles class that you don't have any power on, right? But with it, a lot of people have kind of noticed that they may have nerfed the Neon Ninja Shuriken a bit. Near as I can tell, because people were saying that it ended up making the hitbox of the Shuriken a little bit smaller. Near as I can tell, the hitbox still seems to remain the same, but the Shuriken itself shoots out at a further distance from your player model. Now, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong about that, but there is definitely something going on with the shurikens that is different. Now, the reason that I assume that it's got to do with the shuriken spawning a little bit further than your character is because that would make sense as far as Trove is concerned, because the Shadow Hunter is kind of affected by that as well, where his big arrow will actually get caught on his player model, and maybe that's what was actually going on with the shuriken. Fix a very rare issue where the marketplace could take payments without actually handing over the purchased items. Fix a bug where no spawn text was shown after dying in the tutorial, pardon me. And then fixed a bug with the /time-lapse end, which has to do with like taking a time lapse of screenshots. And anyways, that's it. There's a couple of other extra things that you can check out for yourself. Links will be in the description. Either way, thank you so much for watching, folks. Very much appreciate it. And I would also appreciate if you would hit that like button. I'm going to try and have all those other videos that I mentioned today that are going to talk about, like, you know, the allies and the specific functions of the streamer allies and all of that stuff. I'm going to have separate videos on that because this one's already been lengthy enough, and we still have the console patch notes that's going to be coming out later today as well. So lots and lots of Trove. Don't expect Trove to end up showing up tomorrow is all I'm saying. Thanks for watching though, folks. Very much appreciate it. Sayonara and stay epic.